I feel like I want to close that door to the outside world and just be in here with the
Yeah.
guys in the background, just
On the
banging.
floor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Banging away.
banging away. We always, everything has to be. I feel like we need to change the context of our podcast to the absurd and the serious. No, I don't, you can edit it out. You say it. Start again.
Okay, we'll start again.
I feel like we need to change the name of this podcast
Mm-hmm.
to Miletios.
Why do you feel that?
I just feel like it rolls off the tongue. It just rolls. It's like it's exotic. It sounds beautiful. You
I
know,
don't think it's that exotic.
you would say my name.
Mel.
No, don't say my name, Mel.
Meletios.
Not Miletios.
Melitos.
No, are you fucking with me? You're like a fucking literate genius, right? I'm the
I
one.
can't say your name.
No, you can. Miletios.
Meletios. Meletios.
How hot does that sound when you do it properly? Do you get a tingle?
Yeah, I do get a little tingle.
Yeah, Miletios.
It is.
It
Yeah,
is.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. It's
Yeah, I'll try
too
it now
exotic.
with you, right?
Tim. Is that doing it for you?
Tim.
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 That's actually Timothy.
Timothy.
Yeah.
Timothy's nicer.
Yeah, it's not as nice as.
Do you like it? Like, do you like hearing your name when when you're having sex?
No, I don't like hearing my name in any context.
Tim. No, you don't.
It's a shit name.
It's not a shit name.
It's a shit name.
It isn't. You know why? Because it's connected to you, and you're like,
A shit person.
you're not a shit person. I get dopamine every time you text me. I go, wow, my friend Tim. And I always talk about you, my friend Tim. My
Yeah.
friend Tim. Did you see like Yakoved knows about you?
Yeah, even though I haven't talked to him.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, hey, Tim.
I know I'm a mysterious entity, just a Tim floating through the world.
It's
There's never been a ghost named Tim that's just fucking out there floating around haunting people's dreams. No Tim is making love to people's subconscious. Tim is an accountant.
I have so many things running through my head right now. And it's all about me, so I'm stopping it.
Oh, okay.
Look, I had I had a Fight Club moment then.
Oh,
Yeah.
which you want to fight me?
No, but like like the punchline to that is like it's his imagination, like the refer.
Yeah.
Remember when movies had punchlines? And yeah, like
had a twist.
yeah, it had a twist. Yeah, there was movies. Remember movies had a twist?
Yeah.
Maybe like I'm just doing this by myself, and you're just a figment of my imagination. Like, are you real?
Wait. Am I?
Like
No.
I conjured you up,
Right.
and then I'm thinking, what did I conjure up?
No.
What is? I have the best imagination.
Oh, no, but it has to be the other way around because no one would conjure up Tim.
No,
Someone would conjure up Melitios.
no. This is the thing. This is the twist.
Oh, this is the twist.
In our world,
Tim is the erotic.
in our worlds,
Yeah,
we are
hidden
what
mole.
we want to be. Do you know what I mean? Like I've always
Yeah.
wanted to be a Tim.
Oh,
Do you know?
yeah. I've always
Like-
wanted to be not you,
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck you. This is why you're my conjurer. Like I've conjured you.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You see, I'm helping you
Yeah. Yeah.
by
This is-
insulting you every week.
This is how I feel safe with you beside me.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, I feel safe beside you
Oh,
too.
thanks.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
It sounds like we're in a church. Are we in a church?
Does it sound okay?
Because we're very echoey.
Do I?
There's
It
nothing
is
we can do
very
about it.
echoey, isn't it?
All right.
Can we?
I'll
Can-
fix it in post.
Can you not fix it? Can you make it more churchy?
Yeah.
Like we're in a hall. There is
are.
a hall filter. Remember in the old TVs or old stereos, like your Marantz stereo? Do you remember the Marantz? What did you have when you were growing up?
I had a proper education.
You would have had a record player at home.
No.
You weren't allowed to have a record player.
Well, not record player. I had a CD player.
Oh yeah, you're younger than me.
Hmm.
But didn't you get the record CD stack tape? Like all three
No.
technologies in one?
No. Not
No.
until later. Not until my 20s.
Wow, what's
That's a retro thing. Yeah.
Ah,
Well, no, it was a retro thing. I think it was just cheap.
you're only like 8 years younger than me or something like that.
Yeah, it's a big difference though.
Wow, it is. Like
What's
that
it-
guy there,
Yeah. He's manly.
he probably at a touch remembers an iPod. Oh, that
Yeah.
thing my parents had.
Yeah.
And he's been laying floors for 8
8
years.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something else that Mel
Yeah.
connects to the common man.
Yeah. Yeah. With
You asked him about flooring and then had no follow-up question.
yeah.
I mean, I applaud the effort.
He,
Where are you going to go? Is that black butt?
he did say, I just lay floors. When I
Yeah.
asked him, I go, hey, do you know where Yakoveh is? Right? He was like, what the fuck is that name, mate? What
Yeah.
the
I
fuck?
mean, fair question.
Yakoveh. That would have freaked his brain out. Like just Yakoveh. Just
Hey,
hearing that.
I was being nice to you for empathizing with the common man, and now you're having a go at him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, but like you did see his body
I
language.
did. He did not want to talk to you.
Yeah, it was like fucking
Which
hell.
is why you then had follow-up questions.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was why my follow-up question was because he did say something really like that stuck to me was
Oh,
when he said, I just lay floors, I don't do nothing. Something like that. Do you remember that? I don't
no.
do nothing. I don't know anything. I just lay floors.
Oh,
And I said, do you have a friend? Which one of those two guys is your friend? And he picked his friend.
oh. Was it me?
No, it was
Oh,
the man on the left,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
What's going on with the other guy?
the other guy looked like just maybe a Sydney University
Oh,
guy, like
like a foreman.
someone that wears a walkie-talkie and is making
Yeah.
sure that the
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
foreman,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was more built and more handsome, that guy.
Which guy?
The
The
foreman.
floor man.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Floor,
flooring man or the foreman?
foreman. He had
Floor,
yeah,
floor,
foreman?
foreman?
Foreman.
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 Yeah, not
What is
floor.
that?
There was a floor man. No, there was a foreman looking after the floor man.
Why does everything have the word man in it in English? Have you? I don't know any other languages.
Have you listened to our podcast?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah, well, that would probably explain it.
But why do we think about that? Why?
What?
What's
Why do we think about that?
why do I think about that? Why is like
And then why do I think about it?
why
Considering I'm just a
like
figment of your
it's
imagination.
absurd that we have like all our job titles, which we're now trying to dissect and throw away,
Yeah.
have like man in it, like
Yeah. The
foreman.
history of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where's like it shouldn't be for woman because woman's got the word man in it too. So it should be for woo.
Forwoo.
For woo.
Forwoo and floorwoo.
Floor. All I am seeing
Mm.
in front of me is that door opens.
Well, go fucking shut it then. Jesus.
I thought I shut it. You can't see it. Do
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean? So
what?
it's not
Is it
affecting
is
vision.
it a fucking feng shui thing for you?
But I do want people to walk in though. But like I don't want them to walk in.
This is the dilemma of Melitios.
So where are we, Tim?
We are in a gallery.
Which one?
We are in Tin Sheds. Come down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were here a month ago. I do like the big crack in the floor. Maybe we could tell
How
people
does it
when we
feel?
do stuff.
How does it
I
feel?
feel good. I
This is
feel
like-
really good.
This is our first time. We've been talking about this for what? 3 weeks? No.
Yeah, this was like a Christmas gift that I gave you.
Yeah.
Was this idea? And
Yeah. And you bought this stuff that we're
I
holding.
bought this stuff so we could go mobile
Mm.
because as I said last time, I bring in the big bucks.
Yeah.
So you now have your own little chocolate.
Yeah.
And yeah, and but you have the connections. You talk to people.
I don't have
You
the
exist in
connections.
world. You have
we-
no shame, is what I meant to say.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have the connections. No one wants to connect to me. I connect to them.
Yeah. And then eventually
Yeah.
someone says yes just to get rid of you.
It's weird when people want to connect to me. I always think there's a little bit of crazy in that person.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, what's that say about me?
No, but you don't like
I don't.
it's not like
I don't pick up your phone.
I reckon if like we saw each other on the street,
Yeah.
you wouldn't come up to me.
I'd think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there'd be a moment where I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you want to talk to Mel or should I just keep walking?
Yeah, yeah. Like if
But I'd do that to my parents.
yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
kids.
That's what I mean. Like I was saying before, I like calling you because I know you don't pick up the phone. And you were telling me your friend does
Yeah,
this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And all I imagine is you looking at your phone with my name on it,
Yeah.
going, "What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
when will it stop?"
Just counting down the rings.
Yeah, yeah. So now that I've said this to you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you a second time.
Yeah. No. That's what my other friend does.
Yeah, yeah,
He will just keep calling
yeah,
and
yeah.
I will keep not answering. So fucking knock yourself out, mate.
No, but for me, it's that's the communication. I
Oh,
don't,
right.
because I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk
yeah,
to you
yeah.
either. Like I'm like going,
Fine.
thank God he
Thank
didn't
God the
pick up the
person I called is not
didn't pick
picking
up the
up.
phone. But like they're thinking, you're like, at
Yeah, we
least,
had a little thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a thought.
At
We
the
can.
same time.
That's right.
That's what you want immediacy. You want us both to be thinking about each other as
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly right. Is it
Yeah.
selfish?
Yes.
But I also like the limerence of it, limerence, the lingering,
Yeah.
the
Little
seeping in,
afterglow.
the little afterglow, like me thinking about you and you thinking about me, and then we're trying to connect with each
Well,
other's telepathy,
but
telepathically connecting,
yeah.
like
Well, not
tapping.
telepathically. I mean, you're literally calling me.
Yeah, I know, but like just tapping in, like, is he annoyed with me? What's he thinking? And you're going, I'm annoyed, but I do like the fact that there's people out there that actually think of me.
Hmm.
I'm wanted.
Hmm.
He might come to my funeral. Hey, like, I think a few episodes ago, because you keep on editing this out, so I
Yep.
keep on
Keep saying
putting it in there. But we're going to be in a non-experimental art band, me and Tim,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just going to be maybe the two of us. There might be a third person if anyone's talented. And our non-experimental art band is called Non-Experimental Art Band.
Yeah.
So that's the title of our band.
Great.
So we just had the first. We
That
just
was
had a
it.
first
That was
show.
the first
Yeah, yeah,
performance.
yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
It was good.
It's good. Yeah. So we are in. Yeah, we're in a gallery.
Which gallery?
We're in Tin Sheds.
Did we said that?
We've said that. That's right. We can say it again.
Yeah, yeah. Yakov is fucking cool, guys. If anyone's seen Yakov before, he's aesthetically an aesthetically good-looking person. Like the aesthetics of him, and
Yeah.
that's because he's indigenous Greek from the Black Sea. He's Caucasus Greek from the mountains, right?
Mhm.
So like for him to be here at Tin Sheds means that the people before him have survived some weird shit to be here,
Yep.
right? Like the diaspora and all that stuff. All I'm just going to say is just look it up, Google it, Wikipedia it.
So we are. This is our first foray into not gallery foray or foray, but
Yeah.
Tin Sheds to speak in an art space.
And so far, we've been here for about an hour setting up and so forth,
Yeah.
and not one person's walked in.
No. In fact, there's literally no one here.
There's no one here, not even the gallery assistant. Like we had to
But it
call
was
it.
open.
Not assistant. Like what are you, gallery person?
Yeah.
The gallery boss,
Director.
the boss, the director,
Floorman.
the foreman
Floor
of this
boo.
historical gallery. Tin Sheds has been around
Yeah.
for like a long time since I was a kid.
You shown here?
Uh
Leading question.
maybe when it was not on this site, it used to be
Oh,
somewhere else,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It did. It used
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
in a tin shed.
I think for a university show, maybe.
But yeah.
What show have you been in recently? What was your last show?
My last show was at was a photography prize at HOTA, Home of the Arts in Brisbane.
Okay, so I've talked about that one before.
Yeah. My
'Cause
next one is going to be in Manly Regional, which is coming up in about a month. But that's also a group show.
I find like first draft, like call out, something like that,
Yeah.
or Shellhaven Galleries down near now, and I get a call out, and I go, hey, I get excited,
Yeah.
and I like fucking make a Instagram page with all these artists,
Yeah.
and then we get the shows, and then Tim goes like, nah,
Come on.
I don't want to be
Just
part. I don't want to
rewriting
do it,
history.
right? And I'm like, but then I go, you convince me. You convince me that galleries are awful institutional places.
Where are we sitting?
Like, fuck the gallery, fuck being part of that show. And I get really like hyped. I'm like for a month talking to people that I know.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck galleries, man. I don't want to be. I am art. Like I am. Like Mr. Fuck Art is around, is in here. Fuck art, fuck painting, fuck all this stuff. Like I am the artwork. My tantric ego comes out, my libidinal ego.
Yeah.
And then I talk to you, and the first thing I hear is like, "Oh yeah, I wrote the catalog for that show. Yeah, I've been in that show. Yeah, last week I just put in the." I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I want to just out you right now. So I now can say that I've shown it in Sheds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got evidence of it,
Yeah.
documented.
Yeah. And now we've performed at Tin Sheds.
Yeah, in
Right.
front of like an audience of like Well,
People
someone just
walk
walked past.
And Mick, your floor boo.
You just call him Mick.
Yeah.
Hey, Mick. Mick. No, he's not responding
Not a
to
Mick.
Mick. He's not a
Oh,
Mick.
we'll
Sorry.
every time he goes past, we'll try a
Yeah, yeah.
different name.
Until we get it. That was
I mean, he's carrying those planks rather well, though.
and every
Got like
now and then,
5 in one go.
do you hear his frustration every now and then? Like, there you go.
Yeah. He's throwing the thing.
Yeah, yeah. Poof. He's like looking at me. Today's an awful day at work.
Yeah, we remember Andre Serrano's 2001, 2002 Spanish Pavilion,
Mm-hmm.
where he just bricked up the front entrance.
Yeah.
And just went in with a sledgehammer and just smashed the pavilion up. So it was all like broken and smashed. And the only way you could get in was if you had a Spanish passport.
That's right.
So it was about like exclusion and like
Yeah.
refugees and stuff like that. But also just, I love that idea that the Venice Biennale, where all these rich cunts from all around the world, like it's supposed to be like the Olympics, where you see other nations, and you're like, oh, like we're all similar, or we all like believe in this shit. And he's like, no, only people with Spanish passports are allowed to come in. And what do you see if you come in? You just see a trashed gallery.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. That was a good work.
Yeah, there's
Maybe
a lot
something
of
like that.
there are a lot of good works when it's critiquing the space, right?
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me also of the Fred Wilson work of the
Mm.
chandelier, because he was in, I think it was 2002 as well, Venice.
Yeah.
Where he did the chandelier that starts off with clear glass and then goes to the black glass in Venice.
Has that got the generator underneath it?
No, that's
No.
a different work.
Yeah.
But for him, it was about like you were just saying, like the fact that these, like Venice was a slave port, right?
Yeah.
And it still is, right? It's still trafficking in people.
Yeah.
And so this idea that that when you walk into the exhibition, this beautiful chandelier that obviously is like what Venice is, like built on slave money, but the fact that it's black glass, and so the light that you see in the gallery, the light that's touching you, cannot be seen without it going through blackness.
And it does remind me of Hornsleth's work.
Yeah.
When the Uganda project,
Ugandan village project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for me.
That gets you soft side.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why it does. I love the work.
Yeah, I do too.
Why does it get shown soft side for, do you think?
Right. It's kind of like when everyone says like porn is just exploitation or objectification. It's like, yeah, okay, sure. That's just an immediate first response. And when you look at that work, where it is this white fucking Dutch cunt,
Danish cunt,
who deliberately plays with the history of colonization, goes to Uganda, buys a village, but not just buying a village, like, so paints it, like has his own flag, his own Hornsleth colors that he has, asks in return for livestock, like a pig or a sheep or something. I think it was mostly pigs. Asks for the village to change its name to Hornsleth. And then for everyone in that village to officially change their names to Hornsleth.
Last names or just
it's a good question.
We can look it up. There's a whole PDF on his website.
Yeah.
A
Very
little
detailed.
book. Yeah.
But it is like all official Ugandan documents that they changed to Hornsleth, which obviously like links to like slave names and all this kind of stuff, which is all really horrific. But then so people's immediate reaction is like, oh, that's like exploitation. It's like, it is exploitation. And the interesting thing about like the Ugandan government's response, so the village didn't really give a shit, right? Because like what is a formal name? It's not going to change how they refer to each other. But the people that were pissed off were the Ugandan government, right? And they banned Hornsleth from ever coming to the country ever again. And that to me is like, that's an interesting thing, because then that was a slight on the notion of nationhood, right? Of like an independent nation that has been decolonized and like therefore isn't at the whims of Europe. And him coming in and doing that, it's kind of showing that obviously like the notion of the nation itself is colonial. And therefore, of course I can still come in and do this. So that performance at that government level was the thing that I liked about it.
Yeah, look, for me, it's a really great work. And I love that work. Like the critique it gets is like, how can a white guy do that? Right. And I feel like it wouldn't work as an artwork if it was anyone else.
Yeah.
Like it needed to be Christian Hornsleth to do that, because it needs to be a guy. It needs to be an exact act of violence and colonization through the art mechanism. That needs to be critiqued and destroyed, right? And artists like that completely critique and destroy art in the art world. That's what I love. I love how billionaires throw money at Hornsleth.
Like, I think the question is not like why did he do that in a kind of moralistic position, but the interesting question more to me is like, how could he do that? Right?
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to do it is the point.
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't he stopped at any
Yeah.
point, right? The fact that the mechanisms within the art world and the world itself
Yeah.
made that such an easy work to perform
Totally.
is the fucking point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how you get away with
He
things.
should not be able to exist, but he does.
So taking risks is really, I feel like it's something that the art world is lacking at the moment. That risk taking,
Yeah.
like
I mean, I think
getting away with things.
he does, and he's a kind of shit artist for that. But
Yeah.
I don't necessarily even think he's taking risks.
Yeah.
I mean, because
He's a
like you said,
brand.
like he's a brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
He has billionaire backers. Like, I love his work. I don't necessarily think it's like risky.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, he did the Arms Invest Corporation, which is actually my favorite work of his, which
I
was,
don't know this work.
yeah, so his Arms Investment Corporation, I think it was, which was him literally setting up a corporation that you could buy shares in. And the share certificate was the artwork, right? So he would like hand draw you a share certificate if you bought X number of shares. All that corporation did was invest in arms corporations. And obviously, therefore, it made a lot of money because it was doing that. And then it took all of its profit that it made from investing in arms corporations and gave it to charity. So it's like this absolute 100% like cyclical thing of invest in the stock market in murder,
Yeah.
and then takes those profits and then puts it towards victims of murder.
I don't know how I feel about that work.
Right? Yeah.
That work makes me like, because part of me wants to be part of it,
Yeah.
and part of me wants to go like, that's just awful.
Yeah.
But then like I'm just sipping on a fucking plastic coffee cup and sitting on a concrete floor in a state gallery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Let's do that work.
Yeah.
What a
Make
great
a lot of
work.
money.
For me, I know it's just it's the poster work of his. We've talked about Krishna. I don't know. It's not even in your slides.
No,
We haven't even started
not
your slides,
fucking
and you're like
started.
you're looking at your computer going, can we start the
Yeah.
slides? Can we start the work that I put labor in? Do you know what I mean?
No, but this is your labor.
This is it.
Affecting me.
Sorry, but the
Sorry.
work, the poster work of his is the fuck you art lovers, the
Yeah.
Rolex work.
Yes.
And he's done it on cars, but for some reason, that
The Rolex,
Rolex
I like
work
work.
is just because I don't know why. It's the poster work. It's the one that gets you into him.
Yeah. So the Fuck You Art Lovers is the Rolex watch that it's, I think, series of 5 or something, and he scratches into it like with a really like shitty scratch graving tool around the side. Fuck You Art Lovers,
Yeah.
Hornsleth, and he signs it as well. It's the work that I use with undergrads or whatever, and go
Yeah.
like, what's the difference between him doing it and you doing it? Obviously, if you do it, you're just destroying a $10,000 watch or
Yeah.
whatever, right? Because no one's going to buy that.
Yeah.
You've just defaced it. Him doing it, he's adding value to the watch,
Mm.
right? So he sells it for 10 times the amount of what it was. And obviously that's like the power of branding. But the thing that I like most about that work is the way in which it operates as cultural capital. Because unlike the car, like the Rolex watch is something that some rich collector is going to wear, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why that rich collector is going to wear it, music's coming back in. Oh,
Wow.
and with the cops being called on us as well.
Did you
Not
just rap then?
experimental. Oh, fuck
No,
off.
you just
That
were
was you.
rapping.
That was you.
You just went.
You fucking just gaslit me. You-
No, you know, I was doing the beats. You were saying something like, and the cops went by, and
No,
you know,
I wasn't. I would
okay.
never.
Would you rap?
No, never. I
Sure.
have no rhythm. So that the collector that wears that,
Yeah.
the cultural capital that they get from wearing it is the pleasure in some other mistaking it for a Rolex
Mhm.
rather than a Hornsleth. And it's that idea that like the design collector or the designer object is a certain type of wealth, right? Oh, I recognize that's a fucking Ferrari. But the collector above that, or the person who has the most cultural capital, collects art.
Yeah.
They don't show off their wealth through designer brands.
Like the Lehman Brothers collecting all the
Or the
annual
Starchy
bulbs.
doing that same
Yeah.
thing, right? And so if you know who Hornsleth is, and if you don't make that social faux pas of going, oh, that's a nice Rolex,
Yeah.
but you say, oh, it's a Hornsleth, then you know you're talking to someone who is worth talking to.
Yeah.
So that to me is why it's such an interesting work.
Yeah. I love that work. I love that cultural capital, the sign something, deface it, make it uglier, but it's worth more than what it would be.
Yeah.
A Rolex does also hold its value, like an iPhone, but it does deflate in value, right? Once you wear one, like a billionaire's not going to want someone's secondhand Rolex.
I mean, I assume
It's
so.
just on TV when you see it, like, there's a Rolex, I'm going to
Yeah.
pawn that. And the pawnbroker always is the one with the capital power. I love the fucking pawnbroker because they're just the scum of the earth
Yeah.
that doesn't need to. The scab. They're a
Yeah.
scab. I love the word scab. I'm going to use that word. Like they're the scab. They're the 5-cent piece. You know, like no one, if you pick up a 5-cent piece, you're a scab.
Yeah.
Because I get called scab all the time. Like I'm picking up 5-cent pieces. Scab. Like, you know, with near the pigeons. Did you see me take a pigeon photo today
I
of
did see
the
that of the shell,
shell of the little
baby
nest?
pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never see baby pigeons. It's the pawnbroker that creates that capital value and then sells it off for more. They're like the auction house.
Yeah, they are.
That's how I like
Yeah.
to see the pawnbroker and the auction house as a similar thing. Like one, the same entity. One's dressed up in a fucking Versace suit, and the other one is just in a Champion Adidas or Champion tracksuit. That's about 7 days old. They've been wearing it for 7 days at work.
Yep.
Sitting behind a till, sipping on fucking Starbucks
Yep.
coffee cup that they've made their own coffee in.
Yeah.
And you try to sell your Rolex watch to them and they go $200.
Yeah.
And you
But
go,
those shows, I'm interested in those shows because what you just said, which is that they make the exploitation incredibly obvious. Like
Yeah.
it's literally just a transaction and exploitation.
Mm.
It's like I can say 200.
Yeah.
Like I want to see how much I can exploit this transaction. Like
Yeah.
whatever your crisis is the thing that I'm going to exploit.
Mm.
So yes, you're coming in here with a Rolex because you need money.
Yeah.
So I can have this conversation about your exploitation. And that's the value that I'm extracting.
Yeah.
It's just very explicit.
It is.
It's what Hornsleth did in the Ugandan village project as
Yeah.
well, right? It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, buy a cow for someone to change their name,
Yeah.
and it was their choice. This is the thing. The moral compass was like
the choice of the person going in the pawn shop as well.
Yeah.
That's the same logic.
Yeah, and that's where the artist uses that capital, that the fucking arsehole of capital becomes the arsehole of capital to make it work.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that work because I'm not an arsehole.
You're not that kind of arsehole.
No,
you're not rich enough.
No. Do we have someone coming in? No. Thought they just saw us.
Probably look quite intimidating.
I don't think people are going to come in because they can see us.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'd like one audience member. Can we start with your slides?
Yeah,
like I've been waiting for a segue into this. Like I did say earlier on, I went.
The first thing you said
serious.
was that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what you did after that.
I don't know. Sorry.
Right.
Did I do something or you can
direct.
You can go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Oh, but I feel like I'm the, in our relationship, I feel like you're the hot air balloon and I'm the bag of sand trying to weigh you down so you don't just float off. I feel that responsibility, Mel, of being your bag of sand.
Yeah.
Okay. But I still want you to be free, right? The bag of sand still lets you float.
Yeah.
But I don't want you to go too far.
Yeah.
Because it takes us an hour to get to the first fucking slide.
Well, come on. We are absurd and serious. That's who we are.
Absurd and serious. And that's why I'm doing this. And I thought I'd take a break from me jerking off, although we never actually got to jerking off, and stop talking about masculinity and maleness. And although there will be a bit of that in here. Yeah. Because how can you not? But,
so we've finished that.
Well, no, we might come back to it. This is just like an intermission.
Yeah, because the last time we said there's another part.
There is another part, but we've done 4 parts on it already.
4 parts is a bit boring, and people have dropped off the listening.
So a respite from that.
Yeah.
But still connected to that. So the impossible aesthetics of giving a shit in Australia is the subtitle for this one, and it's the correlation between absurdness and seriousness in aesthetics that I want to talk about. Barrenfields, who I think I have mentioned in another podcast, Barrenfields was Australia's first poet. It's sort of 1820s. He published, or 1832, he published the first book of Australian poetry that was labelled as Australian poetry. He was like Australia's first poet, blah, 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 whatever.
when you say Australia's first poet, you'd actually mean like Australia, because
Well,
Australia existed before Australia did. So yeah, it does make sense.
so
Like
yeah.
the Federation of Australia, like the colonial.
So this was before the Federation of Australia. But the reason
Yeah.
why I say Australia's first poet is because in Clements and Ford's book on Barren Fields, they label or they name him and his poetry as the aesthetics of federation.
Hmm.
So he kind of lays the ground for federation.
Yeah.
In his poems, and it's a really great book, and everyone should read it. It's a great critique of that type of aesthetics and terra nullius. However, Clements and Ford makes the point that Barren Fields he was a judge firstly, and he came to Australia to be the judge, to be the like the New South Wales Supreme Court judge, but he was also a poet. He started like the Philosophical Society, all the kind of classic highbrow Enlightenment things that you're supposed to do. Be a judge, do law, be a poet of some sort or an artist, and also do philosophy. Clements and Ford point out that most of his poems within this text, within the first volume of Australian poetry, are satires. Like they're full of puns, they're full of like a kind of romantic tradition, and like satirical references, etc., etc. Almost kind of to a postmodern extent, right?
Yeah.
The point that they make is that within the Australian context, the emergent Australian context, but even within the Australian or the colonies context at the time, it was satire that was functioning as lyric or the lyrical. And what does that mean? It essentially means that the satire from within the colony could not be read as satire, right? It had to be read as the serious. And that's because obviously the settler colony was nothing more than an authoritarian prison camp, right? And so here we have the Stalinist idea, or like that classic Stalinist joke, which is you can't point out the thing that is obvious, right? So if you point out that it's a joke, then everything starts to fall apart, right? And the Stalinist joke is like there's Stalin and there's like 1,000 people, he's giving a speech, la la la. One person stands up and says, Stalin, you're a traitor to your country, you are a fucking evil cunt, blah, 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 right? Starts shouting out. And everyone gets silent, deadly silence, like this guy's going to get fucking killed. Then another guy stands up and shouts at the first guy saying, what are you doing? You know that we don't ever call out Stalin, right? And so what does Stalin do? He takes the first guy and puts him in the madhouse and shoots the other guy and all his family, right?
Yeah.
And so here we have like the process of saying the obvious thing,
Yeah.
which is, come on, man, we are all living this fiction.
Yeah.
Like we all know that we're just lying to ourselves. That's how we function. That's the only way we can survive or whatever, right? That's the most dangerous thing to the colony. So when Barren Fields writes satire, writes puns, it has to be treated as serious, right? That, oh, this is the land of fertile lands and fruit that's growing on trees. You can just pick wherever the fuck you want, right? Everyone knows that's not true, like from a European kind of idea of what plenty looks like. And yet we all have to pretend as though it's real. And then Barren Fields is the one that goes on to lay the groundwork for what becomes terra nullius, right? And so it's the same thing, right? That where we have this fiction that has to be hysterically performed as real, which is terra nullius, that because all of our law is based on that fiction, right? Not based on that performance. It underpins not just law, but therefore all culture and everything else. So it is essentially a satire, a joke. Terra nullius is a joke, but it has the weight, literally, of a nation on top of it. And so it cannot be revealed as a satire. It cannot be revealed as a joke. So within Australia, therefore, satire is read as the serious, right? We always read satire as serious because of that. The question that I want to ask today is that, therefore, can we start to think about the serious as satire? That within a settler colony, like within art, within making, within whatever creativity, can we use the serious as a way to critique rather than the satire, which is usually the thing that we say is critical? Whereas in Australia, like satire, like be it like The Chaser, it's not actually operating as a form of critique. It's a form of entertainment. It's like at best, it doesn't attack the fiction. That it's not the person standing up saying, "What are you doing? You know how we're supposed to perform."
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk about today.
That's great. Barren Field.
It's a great name as well, right? Because his name is already terra nullius.
Yeah.
So it's already a fiction, a pun.
Yes. Fuck Stalin. I would be put in the madhouse.
Yeah, you would be in the madhouse.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't stand up and pretend
You
to
wouldn't.
bench you.
You
would
wouldn't.
let you go to the
Yeah.
house.
Don't say something else. Yeah, yeah.
Everyone, shh. Just let him go. Pretend like he's not here.
Thanks, man.
That's all right.
Got my back.
Look, I might visit you,
Yeah, yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Although I probably wouldn't. I would think about visiting you, and that would
Yeah.
make me feel good. At some point.
Story time. I
Story
danced
time.
against.
Totalitarianism.
I didn't want to say that word out
I
loud.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
it,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
I
Thank
was
you.
there like that.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a trust fall.
yeah, yeah.
I might not visit you in the madhouse, but I'll pronounce long words for you.
Thank you. It's not that. My tongue twists. I've got like this weird dyslexic, like,
It's your wisdom tooth removal.
yeah. Can we get on with it?
So, story time. This is where this whole thing about thinking about seriousness came from, and this is where I will ask you for your contribution.
Did you take this photo?
No, I
Oh,
found it on the
okay.
internet.
All right.
But this is a photo of the performance that I saw.
Ah, so it's the same one.
It's the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So I go to a dance concert because my kid is in a dance concert. And I'm really proud of him because he's a boy and there weren't many boys and he got teased for it and he still went and he did really, really well. However, they do it at it's one of those performances where you get a bunch of schools from the region, they perform blah, 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 right? So it was from basically kindergarten to year 12 students. And there's this really obvious divide between primary school and high school performances. The primary school performances, of which my kid was, is just like cute kids jumping around, fucking being animals and shit, right? Everyone's like, oh, that's cute, blah, blah, blah. Or like, I'm bored shitless, but I'm going to go, oh, that's cute, whatever. As soon as you get to the high school performance, high school dance groups and their performances, it was so fucking serious, right? Like, not only like their commitment to it, like their fucking belief in going onto the stage and like dancing their fucking hearts out, right? Like you could see that they had embodied something, right? And what were they embodying? The themes for their dance. And this is like dancing, right? This is so, I don't know, it just made me think so much. They were doing dances about killing the monarchy, and they would like literally were performing killing people and like, oh, it was great. Climate change, right?
Yeah.
One was about like the nature of fucking time under capitalism, right?
What was it?
The
About-
nature of time.
Yeah.
The nature of time under capitalism, i.e., like being ruled by the clock,
Yeah, yeah.
right? These like
Who's their
incredibly,
dance teacher?
right?
Yeah.
Like incredibly grand narratives
Yeah.
that they're dancing about and performing this, and they fucking believe it. Like they commit, right? And what's the affect of the audience? Cute again. It's not taken seriously. At best, it's treated as cute. Yet most people are sitting there cringing. And that's the thing that I want to critique, because as an art teacher, it is also the thing that art teachers are going to talk generally, not about my specific place that I work, but I've worked at many art schools. That's the thing that you're supposed to train out of them when they hit in first year, is like that expression and that belief. You can't make works about climate change, or at least not like, if you do, they have to be really subtle and precise and about your house or something, right? Not the fucking global system, not an anti-monarchy work or an anti-capitalist work. No, you can't do that anymore. And that's the thing that I'm interested in, is like, why do we teach that out? Why do we respond as a cringe towards this stuff?
Yeah.
To kids that are young adults, whatever, like, I want a better term than kids because they're fucking humans. Humans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Young humans who
Whiners.
want to, in the mines, digging out expression, who want to take this shit seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do we treat them? We treat them as satire.
Hmm.
We treat it as cringe. We treat it as this shit. And this is what I mean. This is what I'm really interested in. So I'm interested in the seriousness. I'm interested in taking that seriousness seriously, rather than doing what my knee-jerk reaction has been to do as a teacher, which is to ultimately dismiss it.
Yeah.
Right. Or teach them. It's not even that. It's teaching them to dismiss it in themselves. That's the thing that I want to tease out today as a mode of aesthetics. And like, why can't we as artists make a work about genocide? Like we can, of course we can.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's a way within which like that gets, we know that's going to be read, and there's something that stops us, or even just about love or being in love. Right?
Yeah,
Like, why these serious things that we feel or have felt, we don't make work about.
Yeah.
The power of that aesthetic is the thing that I'm interested in.
Yeah, yeah. So you're talking about the obvious.
In what sense?
Like, if we do a timestamp of right now,
Yeah.
and you tell like a student, make an artwork about yourself, and they pick the obvious. If you say, let's do an artwork about climate change, and then they come back and they do an artwork about how one bottle of water, every time you do a prompt
Yeah.
on your computer, it's using a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they've got a picture of an iPhone and a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Because I've come across many works
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Right. I am finding that people are doing that less and less, and I am finding that I'm drawn to those works more.
Yeah.
And I do this as a piss take. If I reverse my brain, like I tell myself that this work is good,
Mm.
and I convince that person that that work is good, I can convince the whole audience or class or whoever
Yeah.
that is looking at the work at that time that that work is good. It's so liberating.
Yeah.
It's data. It really is.
Yeah.
I do this thing.
Oh, get close to the mic.
I do this thing, and I've been doing it since like my whole teaching time, where when you have to like critique the person, the artist, that's
Yeah.
like that draws this immaculate, like still life drawing,
Yeah.
cross hatching is perfect, shadows are perfect, proportions are perfect,
Yeah.
right? And I go, wow, that's really good, right? And then I've always peer reviewed something that even before peer reviewing
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
wasn't a thing. I just did it because it's fun, right? Like
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
my job easier.
Yeah.
You
What do you
guys
think about
mark
that?
your own work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I get them to put out down the drawings, usually at the end of the table where the worst drawings are, right?
Yeah.
When the kids put they're the ones that are the most naive, one
Yeah.
line, they couldn't be fucked. The
Yeah.
shading is like,
True.
outside the lines and all
Yeah.
that stuff. They're the ones that I find the most interesting,
Yeah.
right? So I take them, right?
Yeah.
And I put them next to the ones that are really, really, really good,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes I put them above them,
Yeah.
all right? I do that for this one reason, because there is no rules in what looks good or not good,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Art doesn't have to be this subjected labor.
Yeah.
If anything, the labor drawing, that kid, if I don't teach them this lesson, it's for both of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If I don't, that kid is going to get so sick of drawing
Yeah.
if they can put that labor in. Like, then they're going to, what? They're going to fucking last, 2 more years, and then they're just going to like give
Yeah.
up by the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
they want to be an artist, and try to draw like that, because
Yep. Yep.
it's going to be drilled out of them by
Yep.
motherfuckers like you who
Yep.
thinks the cringe way,
Yep.
And we're going to find that kid that does those drawings who's lazy as fuck, who can't be fuck drawing, who's in art class because it's just easy. They don't have
Yeah.
to deal with like,
Yeah.
some structured form.
Mm.
And reward that kid.
Yeah.
Reward them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And their artwork, honestly, will become they will become the artists. And I've
Yeah.
done this.
Yeah.
I've seen the generations. I've seen the people that are artists
Yep.
from that age
Yep.
as real artists now.
Yeah.
They're the ones that were at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
Where am I going with this?
Well, yeah, no,
I'm really
no.
passionate then.
No,
about
no, no.
my fucking teaching.
Well, firstly, I think that makes you a fucking amazing teacher,
Mm.
because I don't think there are many teachers that do that. In fact,
No one
most
does
teachers do the
that.
opposite.
No one does
Yeah.
that, and it's
Yeah.
really hard to
Because everyone
fight that
takes
battle.
it seriously that you market properly. No, but
Right?
that's what I mean. It's like
Art should be about the artist,
Yeah.
the person
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah.
If you're an arsehole, if you're
Yeah.
you're going to get a bad mark, even if you're drawing that
Yeah.
really good, that really well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But this is what I mean. Like these dancers
Yeah.
were not assholes. They were believing in what they were doing.
Yeah.
Right. And
They're directed.
yeah, they are
Yeah.
directed, but
Choreographed.
no, but they get true. But I want to go against choreography, because
Yeah.
the thing that I didn't like, choreography was whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the thing that actually interested me about what they were doing. What interested me was like the clear attempt at their personality, of putting themselves on fucking stage and going
Yeah.
like, "This is who I am.
Yeah.
This is something that I'm like gonna like put in your face."
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about skill in a second, because I think that's what you just said is a really, really good example of that. And you
Yeah.
said like the person who can draw the best.
Well, like,
gonna be,
technically,
technically,
labored.
Yeah, right.
We could all
laboured,
draw
laboured.
like that if we
Yeah,
wanted to.
of
Yeah.
course. That kid is the the person who's going to get burnt out, like, and I want to talk about that process. I want to
Yeah.
talk about the way within which, like, in fact, precisely that pedagogic process of going, no, but, you know, we have to reward the person who puts in the most time and has the most, like, best proportions and
Yeah, yeah.
skill development, all that kind of stuff. I think that's actually a deliberate anti-pedagogic strategy. Like,
Totally.
I think it's deliberately trying to discipline the kid into a discipline rather than having anything to do with creativity, art expression, poetry, anything.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's not therefore to say the complete opposite, which is like we need to completely have no skill. That's also not what's going on here, because I think that's one of the responses that contemporary art has had, obviously, over the 20th century, which is like the Jeff Koons thing, is like you just get someone else to make your work for you, right?
Yeah.
Now, obviously, that's part of art, but it's not what I'm going to be arguing here. I don't think it's just like, oh, you just need to try and get rid of your skill or outsource it. Skill is something that even like the worst drawing that you draw to the top, you see something in that sketch, right?
Yeah, you do.
There's
I literally like, I like it. Like, I literally really like it.
Yeah.
I am trying to, and when I open the eyes up, you know, the kids, the kids, the people, the human beings, whatever we categorize them as, you can see their judgment of me. But the person that's not judging me, right? At first they're going, is he serious? Like, he likes my work. Is he? But people love feeling good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm just telling that person, just continue doing that. And you'll be, if there's intent in what you're doing, if you can do that with intent, maybe the intent will make it worse. Who knows? Like, it just does become bourgeois once there's an intent in there, right? It becomes labored as well. The intent becomes labored.
It can.
Yeah. But there's something punk about that, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But there was something punk about these students on the stage, right?
Yeah.
That's what I liked to see, right? That was fucking punk. And the way in which the audience responded to it was to deny that punkness.
Did you deny it? Were you there?
No, I was fucking there for it. I mean, I was there forcefully, obviously. Like, my kid was in it. I wouldn't have been there otherwise.
Did you like watching kids that weren't your kids?
I like watching these performances.
Yeah.
The anti-monarchy performance. I was like, that was the most melodramatic and over-the-top performance I'd seen. And actually, it reminds me, again,
but that's kind of strange, right? It's kind of Steiner schoolish. Like, who does an anti-monarchy performance at a public school? Or is it a public school?
It was a public school, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Cool teachers. I want to send my kids there. Do you want to plug the school?
It was Whisper, which is the Wollongong Performing Arts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like,
what, inclusive, diversive, like anti-monarch school? Like, where is that school? Like, where's 2GB? Like, let's call 2GB and like call them on that school, right? Just so they can have some story. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, you want old white people talking about that school. Wow, fucking, you're all right.
Totally.
Is Jimmy all right?
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, so no, I took it seriously because I was feeling it seriously. And part of it was also remembering that feeling in myself, like, of being that age and like really believing that I could express myself through art.
Yeah.
And what the question that I'm asking is, like, what does it mean for that audience? What does it mean for that student on the stage, the performer on the stage, who is making art seriously about their love, their pain, their desire, which is like built into these like global systems that they're just getting words for, like monarchy and colonization and all the rest of it, right? And they believe it. They feel the injustice, and they feel the injustice in themselves, and they're putting it out through moving body, which is like, on one hand, seemingly so ridiculous. I remember this has been scrubbed from the internet, but School Spectacular, which is the bigger performance version of it, right?
Yeah.
In the like 90s or 80s, it's been around forever.
It used to be on TV, right?
Yeah, it used to be on TV. Yeah. And this was on TV. And I really want, if anyone can track it down, find it for me. There was a performance about Auschwitz where they're all like dressed up, right?
Got to find that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's obviously been scrubbed because it was like inappropriate, right? These high school kids in Australia were like reenacting Auschwitz, which like, you say that and it sounds like horrific, right? In that, like, oh, that's so problematic, which is obviously why it's been scrubbed from the fucking internet. But also, like, a 16-year-old or an 18-year-old can give a shit about fucking genocide. And they, I'm sure when they were doing that performance, they weren't doing it from a position of joke, right? They were taking that seriously. That was, to them, a serious critique of what happened in the past and not wanting it to ever happen again. Sure, it was like done, what we would say it was done without taste.
Yeah.
Is what we would say. What do we mean without taste? We mean bad aesthetics.
Yeah.
Like, are we questioning the intent of those students? Like, I'm not. I'm sure every one of them believed fully in the critique, or at least like the horror of what they just fucking learnt about.
Yeah.
So why is that being scrubbed from the internet?
Yeah.
Right? Why is that kind of expression considered so offensive? I find that process of becoming estranged to that, and also estranged to that as a collective, but also within ourselves, right? Because I can think back on that. Maybe the performers who were in that school spectacular now think back on that from being lawyers.
They do.
Fuck, and go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that, right?
I've had people go, I was in school spectacular. Like, have you not, like, as a thing, part of conversation?
Yeah.
Maybe they're young people. I think it still goes on, but it's not as like,
it's well known.
I feel like my niece was in it.
Yeah, right.
Molly, were you in that? Like, let us know. Let us know.
Do you now feel ashamed to have been in it?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No, maybe. Who knows? I feel like I've had that conversation recently with someone that was like, hey, I was in, because it was an important thing. And I think it still has a legacy like Eurovision, because Eurovision's on its way out, right?
Yeah.
As soon as they included Israel, it was like, no. Well, it was mainly Australia as well. Like, as soon as they started including like Australia in Eurovision, like, what the fuck is, like, what? Come on.
Yeah.
It's in the title, guys.
Yeah.
It's called Euro. Like, Euro. Like, I was gobsmacked when Turkey was in there, because like I was like, I had to Google it. Is Turkey part of Europe? No. Do you know what I mean? And then Armenia, Azerbaijan, like they just started letting people in, right?
Russia.
Yeah. Or Russia was always in it. I mean, it wasn't called NATO Vision. If it was a different,
true.
That's what they should call it now.
Yeah.
NATO Vision. Yeah.
2026.
Sorry.
Anyway, yeah. So that kind of the recognizing that within ourselves, of like looking back on this within ourselves as this kind of like, oh, it's like so naive or like cute or cringy that I did this stuff, and I'm glad that footage doesn't exist anymore, or those artworks don't exist anymore, right? The thing that I'm interested in is like what happens to these people who once, and when I say people, I mean all of us. Like we all did this. Most creative people have done versions of this early in their life.
What was your year 12?
I'm going to tell you, right? Yeah. I actually, if I'd gone to my office before here, if I wasn't recording here, I have it in my office. I was going to have you a little treat, and I was going to show you
your HSC work?
I have the Art Express catalog that has my HSC works in it.
Fuck, I wonder where mine is. Sorry, I'm just thinking of my own now.
Yeah.
Where's yours? Where's yours out there?
Mine. Oh, actually, my mum has one of them.
Yeah. No, I was talking to the audience.
Oh, right.
Where's yours?
No. Where's your year 12 work?
Yeah. Where's your year 12 work?
Yeah.
Is it?
And how do you feel about you? I genuinely think back on that, and like, how do you feel about what that?
I just had this conversation with one of my students about their year 12 work. It's really good, by the way. It's like about a Guatemalan intersectional diaspora, like identity and all that stuff. And it's really good. And I was saying, like, I was talking about the archival process, and they were like, I'll just probably throw it away. That's what they said, right? I was like, no, you're not going to throw your artwork away. Your art will become better. This is like the first stage. But if you're an artist, it will become better. If you're not an artist, right? If you don't if it's something that you don't pursue, you're at this like crossroads of your life, right?
Yeah.
You will look back at your work and you will go, wow, that was fantastic. Or you will look back at your work and go, wow, what the fuck was I thinking? Right?
Yeah.
So, but you can't throw away that work.
Yeah.
It's going to be with you forever. Like at this moment, it's different now. Your work right now will be celebrated in 30 years' time.
Yeah.
You'll go, what the fuck was I thinking?
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's the feeling that I want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
That's the exact feeling I want to talk about. Like, why doesn't that continue? Why doesn't that feeling continue, right? So to once, for these people and the people that I saw, like to dance seriously and completely about something that you believe in, absolutely, right? And wear it on you as part of your identity. Only in your 20s, and for most people that means like going to uni or whatever, like going into some sort of profession, to leave that feeling behind and instead, like, as you just said, like study sociology or whatever, to join the system in a normative way. So in other words, like if you express yourself against something you feel within yourself, and you express that creatively on the stage, everyone responds to you cringely, the trajectory for you is to go, oh, like that is not the correct way to feel about something. So if I believe in helping the world, I can't dance about it. I'm going to have to like study sociology and become, you know, like institutionally, like go on the inside and like do the proper thing. Where I won't be cringed. I'll be like, this is the professional way of doing something. And that to me is the skill development, right? That to me is the way within which you learn how to change that expression into that labored drawing. And everyone will go, oh, that looks good. Like, like we'll praise you and put you at the fucking top of the class. You'll get a decent job and all the rest of it. But to me, that is killing the expression. It's actually not only just killing the expression, it's killing any potential of change.
Yeah.
Because it's institutionalizing you, right? It's disciplining you into something.
If they go on to be a dancer, and like they're at the opera house dancing, okay, because you know where else you dance, the opera house or like in front of like the convention center, you know, on the weekends, you know, like with your friends, you go on to be a dancer and you do your piece, you write your piece, you draw it, you're like, this is my piece of like, you know, made about climate change, but it's more sophisticated now. But the audience members, right, because it's like the funding from the same people that didn't want Khaled Sabi to show their work about growing up as a Lebanese immigrant in Bankstown, which is so much fucking cooler, as an art, like as a name, right? You know, like WOG. Bankstown WOG. Imagine that.
Where John Howard grew up, by the way.
Yeah.
Like,
actually, if you do listen to this, Caleb, that maybe can you please call your show Bankstown WOG? That would be cool. That's a cool title. Like Venice Biennale, Bankstown WOG. Like put it on the map, right? My thing is, right, the show is at the Opera House.
Yep.
The audience members are fucking conservative twats.
Yep.
That like have now they're thinking about the past because they're old.
Yeah.
So like the young person is thinking about their future.
Yeah.
The old person is thinking about why the fuck did I become that lawyer and I'm sitting here. I could have done something about climate change. Where does that story end up? Nowhere.
Nowhere.
So like
they're not sitting there
cycle of
about
nothing.
They're not sitting there thinking about, I could have done something about climate change, right? They're having an aesthetic experience. And the difference between, and I'm in no way advocating for that dancer to continue dancing and get into the like Australian ballet, right? I'm going to give you some quotes about why you should not do that.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about that.
No, because it's a really, really important point, because just staying in a discipline, like I said, like sociology or like learning law, like learning art or learning dance is just as much destroying that expression. Because what you do is that you learn all these like skills. Now you might still believe that like my work's about climate change, but what you've actually done in order to remove the cringe is to allow that rich old audience to watch it without recognizing it's about fucking climate change. It's just someone who's incredibly talented and skilled. And so I can sit back as an old white dude and get off on this young 20-year-old dancing perfectly. Now, if I thought about it, maybe I'd recognize it has something to do with climate change, but I can fucking guarantee you every in the audience of the regional theater knew that work was about anti-monarchy because they were cutting the head off a fucking king. Right, a paper mache.
Were they kneecapping it?
They were like,
they were kneecap. They were kneecap. Did they have Palestinian flags?
I mean, it was like as close as you could get to that.
Fuck, that's great.
Right, but
culture. We've got to talk about culture.
But that's like crass culture, right? That's how that would be read. You'd never see that in the opera house.
Yeah.
Because of precisely what you said, the patrons that go there, yes, like maybe at some level, it's like, oh, it's like interesting that it's intersection of like trans rights and climate change and la. But really when they're sitting there, like, oh, they're like jerking off over this attractive, pristinely skilled dancer who has had to, in order to get to that position, has had to commit everything to skill, not expression. Because that's the only way you're going to get one of the 12 positions in the Australian opera, ballet or whatever. Yeah. If you're incredibly lucky to get in that position, you have to commit entirely to the skill development. And that's true for pretty much every discipline. Yeah. Art is maybe slightly less different in that there's different expressions of skill. Yeah. But I would still say it's the same thing. It's a lot harder to do a beheading of a king in tin sheds, for example, right? Like it has to be about water, right?
We're doing it now.
Yeah, we're cutting the. Yeah, we are. Yeah. But this is why I like this as a insurgent act in the gallery, right? We are in the gallery and we're talking about this shit, but it's permissible because you know the dude, and also like we can just sneak in and then sneak out. To me,
are we going to be dancing about that? Are we going to be the old going to the theater, the new rap song in 10 years' time will be Deaf to the IDF. It's not dangerous now, but
Yeah.
in 10 years' time, it's going to be like totally safe to.
Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
fuck the police or whatever, right?
Yeah,
You know,
that's what I mean.
yeah, because it's so easy to complicate it, as you just said, which is like, oh, but obviously the band is loving it, right? And
Yeah.
their record label's loving it and
Yeah.
all the rest of it. I'm interested in kids that get on the stage that
Yeah.
don't have a fucking band or a
Sorry,
record
bring it
label.
back.
No,
Yeah.
but it's
But that's what they're seeing this.
they're the ones,
kids are
all the
seeing it.
fucking students that are camping out at Columbia, right?
Yeah,
They don't have a record label, right?
Yeah.
Like they are risking themselves, they're putting themselves there for their own expression, right? Of rage, of anger. It's far more like authentic and sincere than getting on the stage at Glastonbury and doing it, right? There are too many other systems at play there. The reality is, though, that every human that I've ever talked to has had that feeling as a teenager of being obsessed with something, right? Of being like doing something in excess of rationality, right? That's almost the definition of being a teenager, right? Is this fucking passion to fucking do something, irrespective of like what it may get me, right? You just go and you do it because you believe it in that moment. And that's the thing that I'm interested in, right? That's the thing that like, how do we get back to that space? How do we like retain some of that sacrifice? It doesn't feel like a sacrifice at the time. It feels like fucking urgency.
Yeah.
It feels like obsession.
Yeah.
But we look back on it as sacrifice kind of thing. Like, oh, like I wasted so much time doing that, or like thinking about that, or like being obsessed with that person. It's like, no, there's fucking something there.
Yeah.
There's something there when a kid from Wollongong wants to cut off Princess Charles' head.
That's great.
Fucking great.
That's fucking awesome.
Anyway, here's a quote.
Look, what we're doing is important to us.
It is. And that's
all that matters, right?
Yeah. And there is an obsession with it. Like we're obsessed with each other and we're obsessed with doing this.
It's fucking fun.
Yeah.
Right? So
I do care that there are people that listen, weirdly.
Yeah,
I mean,
I find
like,
it absurd.
Yeah,
To be honest,
maybe
I
that's true.
find it absurd that there's people listening, and I love some of the people because we know some of the people.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is the ones that I don't know. Right? When I look at like someone in Uzbekistan is listening, right? Like who the fuck is someone in Turkey is listening?
Oh.
You know? Cool. Sorry, I just
All right. Let me read this quote.
Yeah. Sorry.
So this is John Cage, right? Cage Mate, in 1927, at the age of 15. He gives this talk, this presentation, and he writes, one of the greatest blessings that the United States could receive in the near future would be to have her industries halted, her businesses discontinued, her people speechless, a great pause in her world affairs created, and finally to have everything stopped that runs until everyone should hear the last wheel go round and the last echo fade away. Then, in the moment of complete intermission, of undisturbed calm, would be most conducive to the birth of a pan-American consciousness. For we should be hushed and silent, and we should have the opportunity to learn that other people think. Now, this was him when he was 15. This is expression, right? This is the moment I'm talking about. Now, think about that quote in relation to 4 minutes 33. Every his dog thinks about that work as this like, oh, conceptual, like postmodern thing about like the audience and how they respond and that the performance is not really the performance and blah, blah, blah. No, he wants a Pan-Americanism. He wants to end industry. He wants a great pause. And why does he want that pause? To learn the one thing that other people think. It's a fucking humanitarian statement that other people are alive, they are thinking, and we need to like have that radical thought, right? That is John Cage at 15. I think his work is always still about that.
Yeah.
It's just that this is the problem with once you become an artist or whatever else, right? We as the audience wants to read it aesthetically, wants to read 4 minutes 33 purely as a conceptual gesture. When he himself is telling us what like that as if I didn't tell you that was John Cage, you'd say that's some high school student who's just gone on a rant like oh, it's cute, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you know it's John Cage and he went on to 4 minutes 33, to me that completely changes my outlook on what Cage is actually about.
1927.
Yeah.
He wrote that.
Yeah.
How old is John Cage? Like he's dead now, right?
He's dead.
Yeah. Obviously, like if you wrote that, if he was 15 in 1927. Yeah. That's great.
And then when you put it against a couple of like performances of John Cage, 4 minutes 33, this is Marcia X and Alex Hamburger. In Brazil, interestingly enough, the performance of 4 minutes 33, which they, during this performative duo rode on with a little like kid's tricycle. onto the stage, like honking horns and shit like that. And there's like a statement in their mouth. I'm not sure what that statement reads, in Rio de Janeiro. And that interruption of the silence to me is like this return to expression. It's like, no, this is about expression. This is not about everyone just being quiet in reverence and aesthetics, listening to 4 minutes 33 of fucking silence. Like, this is so something can happen. This is so that we recognize that we are people in a room, and that we love each other and hate each other and fuck each other and all the rest of it. And that we can have Pan-Americanism, right? We can dissolve the nation state. This is what this 4 minutes 33 is about. It's about the pause for you to fucking recognize that. Just as much as the people dancing that wanted the end of the monarchy, they're not dancing to like make us look at, oh, it's kind of pretty that the like the king is gold and this kind of shit. It's like, no, go out and fucking take the head off the fucking king, you cunt.
Yeah.
How much clearer can I fucking be? That's what I like about that work that I saw. And that's what I like about the 4 minutes 33. That these two performance artists gets it. It reminds me, in 2024 there was a performance of 4 minutes 33 in a music school. What's the fucking music school? Conservatorium. It's called a fucking conservatorium, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the professor,
in Sydney, or
no, this was in the States.
Yeah, yeah.
And a professor got all upset and went on Twitter complaining about the pro-Palestinian protesters for interrupting the 4 minutes 33 of fucking silence, right? That they could be heard in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, don't they know? Don't they respect the art?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, fuck, man. Read like Cage's own fucking words.
This is the end of part 1.